Hi, this is my marketing audit for Caversham Wildlife Park. My name is Angel Sung Yi and let's get started. So the new product is Brunch with the Animals. It is a ticketed sales for the event. It will run for every weekend itself, and it will be a catered brunch where visitors get to enjoy meeting the animals at the park while dining. So for the SWOT analysis, the strengths of the Caversham Wildlife Park includes the park that houses a wide range of animal species, which is more than 200 species. And the next point is engaging activities and attractions offered, and that includes Meet the Wombat and Friends, Farm Show, Meet the Koalas and Koala Holding, Feed the Kangaroos, Penguin Feeding, and Reptile House. It is also awarded the Certificate of Excellence 2019 by TripAdvisor, which is before COVID-19 pandemic has happened. It is also a local Western Australian-owned family business. It offers family and wheelchair-friendly facilities, as well as it is a full member of ZAA, Zoo Aquarium Association. For the weaknesses, the location accessibility is one of them, which is that there is limited travel options for visitors to visit the park. A limited social media platforms is also another weakness, as they are only limited to Facebook and Instagram to reach out to their audiences. Lastly, it has limited advertising for the park. For the opportunities, there's the hard borders of Western Australia being lifted, so that more tourism will be able to enter Western Australia in the coming months. There's an increase in interest in wildlife conservation. And lastly, threats of Caversham Wildlife Park is competitors offering the same core product of being an attraction which showcases animals. This includes Ocean Park Aquarium, AQWA, Perth Zoo, Bunbury Wildlife Park, Esperance Bird and Animal Park. Pastel analysis under political. Caversham Wildlife Park is a member of Zoo and Aquarium Association (ZAA), which which they have to adhere to recommendations and guidelines of the association. Next point, there are laws put on wildlife conservation in Australia. Example will be the Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act 1999. Lastly, it's the small business tax reduction that has happened this year, and with this, the Caversham Wildlife Park has to adhere to the tax reduction itself. Next is the economic portion. There is a decrease in Australian dollars the past 5 years, which means that Caversham Wildlife Park earns a lower profit than other zoos in the world. Hard borders in WA being lifted, so there's a potential increase in tourism and recovering economy from the COVID-19 pandemic. Next is the social aspect. there is an increase in interest for wildlife conservation through the past few years. This has benefited Caversham Wildlife Park itself. There's also increase in tourism due to the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions being lifted. This ensures that there are more tourists coming in and there will be more people and more visitors for the park itself. Lastly, non-profit organizations supporting wildlife conservation is also another point whereby it is recognized by a lot of organizations that supports wildlife conservation. Next is technology. There's an increased usage of social media platforms with more platforms emerging. That one example will be TikTok. So when Caversham Wildlife Park, while Caversham Wildlife Park only limits to Facebook and Instagram, they lack in the public relations and advertising portion to the audiences itself, especially younger audiences. Virtual reality being used in wildlife parks is also another aspect that parks worldwide with animals are implementing, and this changes visitors' experiences. Mobile apps to connect visitors with the wildlife park is also another technology that is being used by parks worldwide. Next is the legal aspect. There are laws put on wildlife conservation in Australia, as mentioned previously, such as the Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act 1999, as well as labor laws changes due to COVID-19 pandemic. So there are more hours that people could work for student visa, etc. And this provides Caversham Wildlife Park with more labor to tackle the incoming tourism itself. Lastly is the environmental aspect. There are cases of bushfires in WA which could potentially affect Caversham Wildlife Park itself, as well as climate change. According to EPA Western Australia, WA is highly vulnerable to climate change. So this is another aspect that might impact the park as well as its animals. This brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you.